Rocco, can you tell us a little bit about what the explanation was that you got, and I guess the conversation of how everything transpired there in the fifth?
Well, there's a lot to probably unravel there, and I'd prefer not to walk through every step of that. Obviously, there was a visit given during a bench clearing incident, and at the moment when I'm out there, after the second time that our guy and their guy started talking to each other, the second time that happened, I decided to stay out there to make sure that everything was calm. And on the way off the field, I looked for Sanchez just so I could go to him and say, "Are you fine?" And looking for him to say yes, and I say, "Okay." And I walked back to the dugout. When I looked up to see him, he had walked a little ways away and went back to the mound. On the way back to the dugout, I just walked over to him and said, "Are you fine?" He said yes. I walked away. Pretty straightforward. And as that inning got going, or after a few more pitches, I asked Pete Mackey to go out there and make sure he was lined up to get the next guy out. And when he went out there, we were alerted that there was a visit given to me during a bench clearing incident. So I didn't agree with it. I didn't like that it was given in the first place, but I really didn't like the lack of communication on a really unusual play and period of time when there's people all over the field. My back's to the field, walking back to the dugout after everything, and then being told that that's the case. I didn't like it. I think at the bare minimum, I think there's probably it's necessary for someone to come over and let us know that a visit was given. So that's it. I disagreed, and I disagreed on multiple levels.
And how frustrating, given the timing, considering Sanchez was doing well. I mean, he was keeping you guys in a good position. Cole's obviously not ready at that moment. So how frustrating was it to see then how things kind of played out timing-wise in that sense?
Yeah, despite all of that, the umpires did mention, I believe Cole was going to have time. He was going to be given some extra time to get ready. I think there's some discretion there, and we were given that discretion. So I'm appreciative of that, and no one wants to see a pitcher pushed into a situation physically that he doesn't need to be or deserve to be put in. So he was able to get loose, thankfully.
And speaking of Cole, how is he feeling, and how is Nick Gordon feeling?
Cole's fine. That's an elbow contusion. I think anyone looking at the replay could see what it was. He seems like he's doing okay. He's getting treated. Nick is also doing fine. Nick wasn't feeling well, obviously, when I went out to the plate to check on him. He was a little lightheaded. It's not something we take lightly. He was insistent that he was fine. He just needed a second. But if there was any other signal that he needed to come out of the game, we weren't going to let him play through the game. So he went out to the field, and before all the hoopla went on, he went out to the field, and I said, hey, if he comes in next inning and he's not normal, if he's not fine, we're going to take him out of the game. And that's really what happened.
I imagine part of your discussion was why wasn't there better communication? What did they say as far as the awareness factor and you knowing that there was a mound visit called out of that?
So really, on the communication side of things, I was just told there was a mound visit given. That's it. That's really it. And truthfully, when I'm out there yelling, I try to still be a good listener. Sometimes I have a tough time, absorbing everything that I'm being told. I'll admit that. But that was really the end of it. It was, we gave you a visit. Kind of, that's it. Like that's really the only relevant part of the deal. The only relevant part of the explanation that I heard and that I'm sitting here remembering. There might be more. The guys out there, Todd and Rob, tried to walk me through why it happened. Truthfully, I didn't really care why it happened. I appreciate them trying to walk me through it. The truth is, we didn't know. No one in our dugout knew. There's a lot of people on the field. I'm not making a visit there. I'm not going out there to talk to our pitcher and discuss anything related to baseball except is he ready to resume play and go do his job, and that's it. And again, there's people walking all over the place, getting settled back in after some type of altercation, and in the middle of all of it, given a mound visit, and in the middle of all of it, not being communicated with. In those situations, if someone walks over and says, hey, you might not agree with it, we got together and decided to give you a mound visit because you stopped on the mound and were talking with your pitcher. They didn't know what I was talking about because they weren't out there with me. Could they have been? Maybe, but they weren't. So, we didn't get any of that. We're finding it all out after the fact. And on the field level, we're always on the lookout for things like visits that are unexpected visits that might be given and signals from the umpire. But in that situation, there's a lot of different things going on that are taking priority. And we're still on the lookout for things like that. But at no point was I even thinking that there would be a visit given and no one would be able to make eye contact with an umpire to be signaled the visit. No one saw it. No one knew it.
Do you have a sense for, I don't know, if Aaron mentioned anything to you for why Altuve seemed to take so much offense to something that didn't seem intentional?
I honestly have no idea. No, I haven't learned anything more about that. There might not be anything about it, at all. If anything comes up, we'll handle it. We're not looking for anything, obviously, in that situation. We're trying to win the game. It's all we care about is going out there and winning the game and putting a speedy leadoff hitter on the bases with no outs for the sake of, that it doesn't make any sense. So no, we weren't doing that, and I haven't heard anything else about it.
Obviously, you guys are have been going through a tough spell. There's Byron. How hard is it to this is the second game where an umpire decision in 2 weeks has added an element to the game, I guess. How hard is it to grasp that it's something that's not being left on the field?
Well, we don't like to make excuses, so I'm not going to sit here and make excuses and say that we're losing games because of umpire interactions or poor community. We're going to have to find ways to still win. We showed some signs of life against some good relievers towards the end of the game today, which I was happy to see. We're playing a good team right now, so we're not going to. Again, we're going to have to play better than good baseball to go out there and win tomorrow and the next day, and that's what we need to focus our energy on right now.